comfortable room and a safe room are not the same thing, and leaders I meet with have never stopped to ask which one they're running. I've been in a lot of rooms in my career, some of them more hospitable than others, and I've learned to tell the difference pretty fast. Early in my career, there was a project we were working on. Everyone was nodding at the meetings, everyone was saying, good plan, good plan. But the projections and the data weren't showing it was a good plan. So at the next meeting, I named it. I shared the data, I said it clearly, I said it once, and the room went silent. After the meeting, my boss pulled me aside and said, "Don't make waves." That was his leadership coaching coming through. That was all he said. That was the whole conversation. And I remember thinking in that moment, this is not the team I want to work for. I knew it immediately, and yet I stayed anyway. I found myself calculating what I could say, when I could say it, what truth was safe and what truth would cost me. That's what comfortable rooms do. They don't silence you with a rule, they silence you with a pattern. And eventually you start enforcing that pattern yourself. Everything looks good on the surface and meetings end on time, people agree, nobody fights. And you walk out thinking, hey, things are working. But that thing, that thing that was wrong in the meeting that nobody talked about, that thing didn't go away. It just went underground. It went underground where nobody was allowed to look at it, and underground is where small problems become expensive ones. Amy Edmondson spent years studying this. She expected the best performing teams to surface the fewest problems, but she found the exact opposite. High-performing teams reported more problems, not fewer. Not because they were worse, but because they had built rooms where people could say what they actually saw. That's the whole difference between a comfortable room and a safe one. The comfortable room hides the problem until it's expensive. The safe room catches it while you can still do something about it. I got quieter after that job, and for longer than I'd like to admit, not because I stopped seeing things, but because I learned what happens when I said them. And that burns me today. It burns me because I know I'm not the only one. You know what I mean. The leaders who saw something real and said it, only to get managed back into silence. And then they learned to stay quiet. And then they built their own comfortable room, because that's the only leadership they were ever shown. That is not a personality problem. It's not a culture problem. That's what happens when the entire leadership for entire organizations optimize for comfort over truth. And it's exactly why I built Authentara. Because telling people to have courage to speak up is not enough. You have to build a room where speaking up is safer than staying quiet, where naming the problem is rewarded, not managed, where truth arrives early enough to actually matter. When was the last time someone in your room told you something you didn't want to hear? And what did you do with them after? That's the whole test. That's whether you're running a comfortable room or a safe room. If you want to help build safer rooms, let's talk. That's the work. That's Founder Focus.